Hello and welcome to Believe Housing's podcast, A Life Without Barriers. I'm Matt Riley, your host for today. We're using our podcast to chat to people who are experts in their field and to get an insight into how their work affects our people, our customers and our business. Today I'm joined by Believe Housing's tenancy sustainment manager, Jayne Adamson MBE. Hello Jayne.
Hello.
I thought I'd give you your full title.
Thank you.
Firstly, can you give us some sort of insight into the kind of tenancy sustainment work that your team does with our customers?
So we work with people who are in arrears with the rent. So we look at maximising income. We like to make sure people are prepared for a tenancy when they join Believe Housing. So we do a lot of pre-tenancy work. We do income maximisation. We look at furniture. And just really that so people are settled in the property and they sustain it and then they can afford it and they're comfortable.
Yeah. And how has COVID affected the customers that your team works with?
We've seen a lot of cases around people suffering with the mental health and not getting access to services, but also people who have to apply for benefits who wouldn't normally because they've been into work. So it's been a real struggle for our customers. So we have been trying to support them through COVID. There's been welfare calls done, but also helping people apply for things like universal credit. There's a specialist team within Believe Housing, so we've been referring people to them because it's just something that they haven't come across before because they've been in work, but because of furlough, they need that support to help them apply for the right benefits.
Yeah. And in what ways has COVID affected the work that you and your team do?
To be honest, we've held on to people a lot longer than we normally would because of COVID. So yes, people do need help and support in the tenancy, but they've needed extra support. So again, in terms of the benefit and income, where we would normally go in and do a quick fix, we've kind of kept holding them a bit longer to make sure that they are settled in the tenancy and that they're sustaining it.
Has working remotely provided any major challenges for you and your team, and how have you overcome those barriers?
Actually, it's been quite good. We've been able to make more calls because we're not doing the travelling. So we've been able to contact more customers than what we normally would. And we've adapted our services as well. So we've done a lot more online. We've got online forms. We've been doing a lot more emailing, getting people to download the app. And that has kind of worked for us. But there's a disadvantage to that as well because we haven't been getting into people's homes. So,
Yeah.
you know, by being over the phone, you can't tell if somebody's struggling with the heating or hot water, say. I mean, we do ask them questions, but it's not the same as going out and having that face-to-face interaction with our customers. So
Yeah.
we've tried to, we've tried to adapt, but we are looking to get back out and to visit people and to make sure that they are properly supported and they're getting the support that they need.
Yeah. Has COVID led to any positive results in terms of helping customers with their finances and benefits?
Yeah, absolutely. We've contacted customers through COVID who are in rent arrears and we've helped them with some backdate on around the benefit. We've done quite a lot. I think we had one customer who got some backdated pension, and there were large amounts. We're not talking small sums of money, so that customer really benefited them. They were struggling with the finances, and we've took that worry away from them. So it's really important that people get in touch really and talk to us,
Yeah.
because it's amazing what we can do to help and support.
Yeah. What would you say are generally the biggest challenges that our customers face in terms of sustaining tenancies?
It's around the finances. It's absolutely, times are really hard. During COVID, particularly around universal credit, people did get extra income. There was an extra £20 a week on the income, and that was a real bonus for people. But obviously, that's going to be taken away at some point, and that's a real worry for our customers. So again, we can look at things like so for fuel, we might be able to get in touch with providers and try and reduce payments, water rate reductions, there's a lot that we can do to support our customers around the financial well-being.
Yeah. So what would you say to somebody who is struggling with the finances and feels like they can't talk to anybody about it?
Please get in touch with us. Get in touch with Believe Housing. If you don't want to talk, email us. We're happy to interact through email. It's amazing what we can sort out. But just don't bury your head. If people get in touch and they get in touch early enough, we can get them, through that financial difficulty. It's really, really important that you do, and not to bury your head. At the end of the day, we want people staying in our tenancies. We don't want empty properties. We want to help people to remain, so they're thriving in the tenancy and not just getting by. I think that's the most important thing, that people are living in our tenancies and they're comfortable, and that's what we want at the end of the day. So yeah, talk to us. We've got a huge team of experts. They're amazing around problem solving. They come up with all sorts of ideas that I would never think of. The absolute experts in the field. So get in touch. That's my main thing, I would say.
Yeah, great stuff. What are some of the key ways that you can help people manage their income better in terms of savings, in terms of energy, that sort of thing?
Well, we can absolutely look at people's budgets. So we can look at, what people's income and expenditure and where them gaps are. We would look at it if there's a deficit. We would look if there was debt and give debt advice. Again, we have a Money Matters team who are an expert on giving debt advice or referring to more suitable agencies. So the budgeting aspect of it's really important. So we would also look at grants. We can access community grants. We can access fuel grants as well. So things like water rates, we can actually, if people are in financial hardship, we can apply and have the water rates cut by 50%. Like up to 50%, and that will give a real help to somebody who's really struggling with the income, and in turn, if they're in rent arrears, it'll help them pay them rent arrears as well. So there's all sorts we can do. There's discretionary housing payments we can apply for if anybody's under occupying, depending on the circumstances. So like I said before, the team are absolute experts at doing that, at maximising income. We also work with credit unions as well, Matt. There's a lot we can do in terms of savings, but affordable loans as well, and low cost loans. So people are not paying high interest charges if they need, essential items. So there's quite a bit what people can access.
What are the key areas that your team's going to be focusing on in the next few months?
For us, obviously the eviction ban has come to an end, so people will be facing legal action. And whilst during COVID, they might have kind of buried their heads a little around what's going on, they could be facing that legal action, but it's still never too late to get in touch with us to talk about, what's going on with the rent, and if they need help and support, and let us do that financial assessment. Let us look at your budget. Let us look to see what we can do, because we can always make an agreement. Because at the end of the day, like I've mentioned before, it's better that you stay in your tenancy and work through your debts and work through your finances. And my team are more than willing to help people around that.
Excellent. And finally, what's the most enjoyable part of your role?
I love hearing the team when they've helped somebody. They've started off with a customer who might be in a really, really bad place, and they've gotten them through that, and they've gotten them to the point where they're getting help around debts, they're getting help around the finances, they're looking at employment, they're working with the employability team. That whole kind of, they might present with one issue to us, but when we do our needs assessment, we usually find out there's a lot more to it and what's behind that. And when they work through that, the team, and they get to that end result, for me, that's the most enjoyable, that we've just managed to, I know this probably sounds a little bit cheesy, but it's not. We changed somebody's life, really, by what the team have done.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it for me. And
Right.
I think the team would agree.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. Thanks very much for your time today, Jayne. That's all for this edition of our podcast. We'll be back again soon, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for the next edition. Don't forget, you can follow Believe Housing on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, and you can find out more about us on our website at believehousing.co.uk. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.